on to 7.3. And for 7.3, this is exponent raised to an exponent. All right, so I always start with the actual rule, right? So first of all, let's remind you the rules we've already talked about. First rule we had day one was if I have x to the 0, that equals 1. The second rule we had day one is if I had x to the negative n, that went to the basement or to the bottom, it was at 1 over x to the positive n. Or if we have 1 over x to the negative n, that went upstairs and it equaled x to the positive n. That was all in 7.1. 7.2. If we were multiplying two things with the same base, so if I have x to the n times by x to the m, we keep our base and we add our exponents. That was yesterday. Today, if I have a base with an exponent and it is raised to an exponent, we keep the base and we multiply our exponents. All right, so for example, if I had in this parenthesis, let's say I have x to the third raised to the fourth. That's the same as saying I have x to the third times x to the third times x to the third times x to the third. So yesterday, in our rule, we would have kept the base and added our exponents all together. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is, whereas if we go ahead and multiply our exponents, we get the exact same thing. All right? So instead of having to write it out and add our exponents together, we're going to multiply. So we're all good with that rule? All right, so here we go. Start off really easy. Example number 1. I'm going to ask you to simplify. Let's say I have k to the 4th raised to the 5th. I keep my base, and what do I do with my exponents? Multiply them, so we get 20. Okay? Okay, let's say I have w to the 3rd raised to the negative 2. I keep my base and multiply my exponents. What do I get? Negative 6. But now I have another rule. Yeah, so since it's a negative exponent, it has to go to the basement or to the bottom. And my exponent becomes positive. Okay, let's say I have, how about x to the 3rd raised to the 5th times by x squared. So first we have to do our exponent raised to an exponent. So here we have x 15th, and then we're going to times by x to the 2nd. Since we're correct, we keep the base and we add the exponent. So it is 17. Nice job, Trent. All right, so here we go with example number 2. Example number 2 is, in your homework, it's going to cover 10 through 20. Yeah, 10 through 20. Simplify the expression. All right, let's say I have, how about j to the 2/3 raised to the ninth. I keep my base, which is j, and I multiply my exponents. 2/3 times 9 is 6. Very good. So even if it's a fractional exponent, it still follows the same rule, right? Okay. What if I have h times h to the third raised to the sixth? What do I do first? Okay, so this h is being multiplied. I'm going to leave him alone for a second. H to the 18th. We have to do our exponents first. Think about order of operations, right? You have to do exponents before you can multiply. Now that we're timesing h times h to the 18th, we're going to keep our base and add our exponents. 19th. Why is it 19th, Trent?
Because there's an imaginary one.
Good. There is a 1 right there. Excellent. Okay. All right. What if I had, how about k to the second raised to the third times by m to the third raised to the negative 2. Okay, so my base is k. Good. All right, now what happens? Good. K to the 6 over m to the 6. That negative exponent only applies to m, so the only thing that moves is the m. Nice job. All right, so do we have any questions so far? So this rule is pretty good? All right. Now, what haven't we added to any of these examples yet? A number, a coefficient, right? All right. No, not yet. So, if the group raised to the exponent has a coefficient, then the coefficient is also raised to that exponent. All right, so for example, let's say I have 3x to the fourth raised to the third. Technically, this is 3x to the fourth times 3x to the fourth times 3x to the fourth. And so yesterday, we would have multiplied all of our coefficients together, right? 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. And then we would have added our exponents. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 4 more is 12. When we have it written here, we are going to take and I think of it as distributing that exponent to everything on the inside. This 3 has to go to the 3, and it has to go to the x to the fourth. So this is going to be 3 to the third, and then x, multiply your exponents to the 12th. Then we're going to simplify our coefficient. 3 to the third power is 27, x to the 12th. Okay, so you think of it as distributing that exponent to everything on the inside. All right, so here's example number 3. This is 22 through 32.
So this is a pretty big example here.
Yeah.
You think I could put it right in there?
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
All right, so again, I'm going to ask you to simplify. Let's start off easy. Let's say I have 2x to the fourth raised to the fifth. So again, I want to remind you, this exponent, this 5 has to go to the 2, and it has to go x to the fourth. So I'm going to start by writing it as 2 to the fifth, keep my base, and multiply my exponents to the 20th. Then I simplify 2 to the 5th. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32, x to the 20. All right, how about, say I have, let's go 3, a to the 4th, b to the 2nd, all raised to the 2nd power. So now this 2 goes to the 3, it goes a to the 4th, and it goes b to the 2nd. So we start at the beginning. We have 3 to the 2nd. I keep my base of a. What numbers am I multiplying together for a? 2 and 4, so I get 8. Then I keep my base of b. What numbers am I multiplying for b? 2 and 2, so I get 4. Now I simplify. What is 3 to the 2nd power? 9. A to the 8th, b to the 4th. Okay, so give me questions before I keep going. No questions? We're all solid out there?
Not sure how to ask the question.
Okay. All right, so now I can start to add another rule in with this.
I think you said just one rule.
No, it's the same rule. I mean, we don't have any newer ones.
What's another rule?
We've got to add other ones in there at the same time.
I think we should just stop right here.
I don't think so. Example number 4. We might be able to get away with just 2 more. Okay? No. Good try, though. All right, so we're going to simplify. Let's go with something that looks like, no. How about we have 2, x to the 1/2, y to the 3rd, all raised to the 2nd, times by x to the, x to the 4th. Okay, so first we have to start with the exponent raised to an exponent. So this exponent on the outside goes to the 2, it goes to the x to the 1/2, and it goes y to the 3rd. So we start there. We have 2 to the 2. We keep our base. What's 1/2 times 2? 1. And then we have y, 3 times 2. 6. Times by x to the 4th. All right, so now I can go ahead and simplify my 2. What's 2 squared? 4. I keep my base. What do I do with my exponents of the same base? So we add them together. What is 1 plus 4? And then I have y to the 6th, because I don't have any other y's up there, right?
Beautiful.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's do one more in here real quick.
I might be able to get it in one page of notes.
Okay. Let's go with 4 h to the 3rd, k to the -1, raised to the 4th, times by 2 h to the 2nd, k to the 3rd, raised to the 2nd. That looks good.
Got enough numbers and letters up there.
I know. So we start with the first one. This 4 has to go to the 4. Has to go to the h to the 3rd. Has to go to k to the -1. Starting with that one. So I have 4 to the 4th. Keep my base and multiply my exponents. I get h to the 12th. Keep my next base, multiply my exponents. I get k to the -4. Times by. Over here, we're going to do the same thing. This 2 goes to the 2, goes to h squared, and it goes to k to the 3rd. So I start off with 2 to the 2nd. I keep my base and multiply my exponents. It's h to the what? Good. Then I have k, keep my base, k to the 6th. Excellent. All right, now, our next rule, because we're multiplying 2 things together, what do we do with our coefficients? We multiply them together, right? So we're going to multiply 4 to the 4th times 2 to the second.
What is that? And then,
No, try again. Well, that's not how it works.
oh, 8 to the 6.
No. They are two different bases. You can't put them together like that. Okay? So first of all, go ahead and put in your calculator. What's 4 to the 4th power? 256. Right? 2 to the 2nd power is 4. So we're going to multiply 256 times 4.
924, yeah.
All right. Then I'm going to keep my base at h. What do I do with the exponents on h? Add them. So I have h to the 12th and h to the 4th. So I get h to the... Good. My next base is what? All right. I have k to the negative 4 and k to the 6, so I get k to the 2nd. If there was a negative exponent up there, what would you do next? Exactly. Okay. Any questions on this? Okay, you just have to stay organized. Don't try and skip steps. Don't try and put too many things together. All right? You want to stay really organized when we keep adding more and more rules in there. Last example.
Yes! I gotta take notes.
Example number 6, right? Oh, it's only 5? Oh, man. Simplify. Let's say I have 6 times 10 to the 4th raised to the 3rd. All right, so just like we did before, this exponent on the outside has to go to the coefficient, and it has to go to 10 to the 4th. So really I have 6 to the 3rd times, keep my base at 10, and what do I do with my exponents? Multiply them, so we get 12. So now I need to know, what is 6 to the 3rd power? 216 times 10 to the 12th. Is that between 1 and 10? Too big or too small? Too big. That means I'm going to add to my exponent. The decimal's here. I move it over once. Is that between 1 and 10? Move it again. Is that between 1 and 10? So I'm going to add 2 to my exponent. I get 2.16 times 10. Good job. All right, wait, just a minute. Just a minute. No, you can fit it in there. All right, let's go with... Oh, no, I'm not. Let's go with 1.05 times 10 to the negative 3 raised to the 3rd. I seem to like 3s today. All right, so this 3 on the outside goes to 1.05. It goes to 10 to the negative 3. So I have 1.05 to the 3rd times 10 to the what? Negative 9. Very good. Now go ahead and in your calculator, what is 1.05 to the 3rd? 1.157625. Thank you. Times 10 to the negative 9. Is this number between 1 and 10? So we're done, right? Okay. You could have. So I wanted it there. All right. So you guys still have more than 15 minutes. We're looking at more like 18 minutes to get working on this. Ms. V and I are both here for you. We want to make sure we are helping you in every way, shape, and form we can. If you have any questions, please let us know. It is important to stay organized.